So let me ask you this question. You think about all of your bad ideas, every bad idea that you've ever had, each one of them started out as a good idea. Every bad idea started out as a good idea. Okay, you woke up one morning and went, I think that's a great idea. That's going to make me a heap of money, only to find out down the track in time that it was indeed a bad idea. Okay, and the problem with that is that a lot of the times we don't do enough critical thinking. I'm going to say that again. We do not do enough critical thinking. And in terms of this, that's why we end up having so many stuff-ups or problems. Okay, so I talk about critical thinking in 3/3. The first third is what we speak about here is having a shallow point of thinking. There's not a lot of depth to the thought. It's kind of, if I said to you, what's the answer on that? Or some on a deeper type of question. So if I said to you something like, who's your target market? You'd go, Bruce, my target market is, and you'd do a nice quick type of response based on that. So that's kind of what I would call first third thinking. It's a shallow thought that's coming out. There's not a lot of depth to it. And a lot of times most business owners are making a lot of decisions in their business based on first, third level thinking. They're doing it on the rush. They're doing it on the fly. There's not a great deal of depth to that thinking. The second third is where we go a lot deeper. So we actually start to really question ourselves of, what's the right strategy, and having some allocated think time. I just said something very important. Some allocated think time of where we're stopping and putting some real critical thought onto a problem and asking yourself your question. Like, let's go back to the target question. Well, why do my customers buy from me? Really, when I bear it all down, why do they buy from me? They've got other choices maybe. Why do they buy from me? What's the core reason they buy? Who are they? What's normal about my customer or my target market? What are their habits? And really spending some critical time on that, maybe asking them, why do you buy from me? But going a lot deeper. That's what we call critical thinking level, 2/3 or the second third. Now, on this point, I love, for the people that are watching that have ever worked with what venture capitalists, and what a venture capitalist is these guys are pros at buying businesses, all right? So they buy businesses every day, and they see a lot of deals, and some good, some bad, some average. And this is how they do it, because a lot of the time we get very emotive on what we think is the right idea, okay? Which normally is born out of first, third level thinking. So we'll think, hey, this is the only way to do that. I'm sure this is going to win, etc. Up here in the second, third critical thinking, I'll tell you how venture capitalists do it. They will, when they're looking at a certain deal, a business to buy, they will have, a team of them, and there might be, say, 10 of these guys that are very smart guys, and girls, and they'll sit around a table and they'll split it up 50-50. And one side will argue, they'll have to go and put a case together of why we should buy this, why this is the best business ever to buy. And then the other side, the other 50%, say they're going to put a case together of why this is the most stupidest decision known to mankind of why we should buy this business. And these guys argue it out. They get all these facts and figures and analysis and opinions, and they go head to head, okay? They then have a bit of lunch, swap sides, and then they go the other way around. These guys that were arguing against now have to argue for, and vice versa. Okay, they do that, then they drop the whole thing and say, hey, after we've done all of that critical thinking and thought and voice and everything, are we going to buy this business or not? And then because they've thought about it in lots of different angles, they're in the right position to make a critical thought. That's kind of second level thinking. And in terms of coaching and what I ask from clients is this is where we need to spend more of our time. The third is, this is kind of where we've put so much thought into something. This is where the epiphanies lie. There's a critical decision that will change the pathway forever, okay? It's going to go and do something like a Steve Jobs creating something like the iPhone. That Apple had never been in phones up until when they did that. That's been such a 90-degree change for that, and the world's never going to be the same again without an iPhone. Well, at least at this time of recording this video, at least. So, in terms of that, that's the highest grade up there. So my point to you is, where are you making your decisions right now? That's question one. Question two, have you allocated any think time just to have a think about where you're playing this this thing called business? So we need to move more of your thinking to here and up here. This is how this critical thinking works. I look forward for you to go deeper on this and getting more out of your business because you've thought about it, and you don't end up saying, hey, I got a whole bunch of bad ideas that were a great idea. Go and get them.